Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Hazel Creek Heritage Farm. Today I'm going to be revealing my next phase of the tarp garden. It's been sitting for quite a bit of the summer, and I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while, but things have been really busy, and seeing as I'm my own filmmaker, a lot of things take time, and from what I've noticed from my content, the longer my videos, the fewer views I get, which is not a big deal to me. It doesn't really matter. This is more documentation on us starting this homestead and what we've done. So I'm just going to show you what I've done just to save some time. Here's the tarp here. It's been sitting here for a few months. And as you can see, our original tarp garden is just going ballistic. So this is working really well. I've gone ahead and pulled all the stakes out just to make this reveal easier. And there's a sneak peek right there. And just to let you in on this stuff over here, this has never been tarped. But if you dig down inside here, I've used alternative methods with cardboard. So that's going to be, it's another trial period for me, but cardboard is a very good fiber for the soil. And so far it's been going pretty good. You can see there's been a couple thistles that's popped up, but I have big hopes for this part here. It's going to be doing really good. So I'm just going to set up a tripod here, and I'm going to yank this tarp out of here, and we'll go digging inside and show you what I've done. So here we go, guys. I'm going to rip this tarp off, and you'll get to see the transition between the bright green and what is brewing inside. Here we go. So there you have it, guys. That's me yanking the tarp off. It's been, like I said, it's been on here for about 3 months, and we're going to take a look inside. But before I show you that, I'll show you what I use for my stakes from the outside of the tarp, those right there. And then just take a bunch of scrap wood, put it in the middle, because if you live in a place like Saskatchewan, we get a lot of wind, and these tarps don't like wind. So, but here we go. So as you can see, we got really good coverage here with straw. I originally put like 10 inches of straw in here, and it's all flattened out down nicely. And I'm just gonna dig inside here, right in the middle. And I'll show you this layer here. This is the chicken manure mixed with straw that has been steeping away, adding nutrients to the soil as the tarp was on it. And I'll dig a little deeper here. And you can see there's zero growth with the grass at all. And usually when I do these tarp gardens, if you dig down, it's pretty compacted, but you can see that the soil is working. There's some roots in there, and it is going to be very, very well for our next garden. So the plan here is, this is what I do every single year. Mind you, I've only been doing this for 2 years. The plan is to keep this open now for winter. I hate to say that word right now, but winter. So then the snow gets covered on here and hydrates everything for our next planting next year. So that only means that is not garbage. You can see kind of where I've extended that part there. We're going to put another tarp over here and keep this garden going. One thing to point out is what I've noticed is if you see this long grass that's been growing on the edge there and all this grass here, it's the one thing I'm going to say that I hate doing. Cut your grass as short as possible. I would never do that in any other instance, but we're trying to suppress the grass here. So I'm going to put the mower deck as low as possible and carve out an area for me to put the next tarp. After we do that, I will tell you the next step. Okay, as you can see, I got that all mowed. One thing I was going to point out, I did install a mulch kit on that mower, and that's for to get a better thatch going in our yard. So that also creates a very good thatch for our tarp garden. All that thatch right there is moist and wet, and that's, once I get the tarp and all the chicken manure on here, that's just gonna create a warm compost where things are gonna start breaking down really quickly. So like I said before, this is extremely short. I hate doing that, but we do plan on making this into a regenerative garden, so that's not an issue. As you can tell from the rest of our yard, most of this is done because of our birds. They mow the grass for us, and I've said this in previous videos, but you can tell the difference. I cut this side and you can see literally no flowers, and where the birds are, you can see the flowers growing. You can see the biodiversity in the grass, and it's really not that much shorter than what I've been cutting with the mower. So all this stuff is very exciting. I'm not sure if you guys think the same way, but I'm telling you one thing, this tarp garden has been a massive success. I'll take you a walk through there. You can see our pumpkins and squashes have absolutely exploded. Lots of flowers blooming, and we have the potential to have a lot to eat this winter. But it is middle to end of August, and we're just starting to see blooms now, so we're kind of fighting against time. This is not our fault. We had a really late spring, so we have harvested a lot of peas and beans already. But as for everything, as far as vegetables like squash, I don't know how much we're going to get, honestly, but that's not because of the garden, that's because of the season. So we're going to get to it. What I'm going to do here is, what I did here is put a layer of chicken manure down, and then I'll put some more straw over top, and then I will cover it with a tarp. I'll try to make this as short as possible, so I'm going to shut you guys off, and then every time I come with some manure, I will put it back on and show you guys. All right, so as you can tell, I that was a new idea that I did there. I spent a lot of sweat equity in emptying out those coops, and it's like 30 degrees out here, so I was pretty tired out, or if you want to be punny, pooped. So I just took the lawn tractor, put it in mow mode, and ran over that pile. I don't know if you could tell from the time lapse, I got stuck a couple times, but I treated it like I was using a router into wood. When you do that, you start out shallow and then you work your way deeper and deeper. So I raised my deck as high as possible, burned through that big pile, and then it started slowly spreading out, and I went until I could go the shortest on my deck, and you can see that it's pretty well evened out everything. So that worked pretty good. Like I said, it saved my back a little bit, so that's good. And honestly, I think mulched up chicken crap and straw will break down faster. I think it might help everything out, speed up the process maybe, I don't know. But if you see this garden, there's different elements in it all the time. That one's got cardboard in it, never been tarp. That one over there is zero tarp, zero cardboard, and that's tarp over there. So I'm constantly trying something different to see if I can maintain this success, and so far it's been working good. That being said, we haven't planted into that one yet. That'll be next year. So we will have next year a garden that's 3 times the size. I'm just gonna use my loop boxes to extend that empty spot there and put straw over top of it. But I just got put a layer of straw over top of that chicken manure and put a tarp on it. Now, the best experience I've had with making this tarp garden is to use old straw. I have tried to use a nice fresh straw bale to cover everything, but I feel like it's kind of lacking the moisture. So if you can see behind me, there's a bunch of old straw that we were using for bedding for the cows, and I'm gonna dig that up and put that on the tarp garden, because honestly underneath those layers it'll be nice and moist, rotting, and that'll just keep the compost going. So so yeah, I'm gonna start digging that up. I'm kind of lacking energy right now because that coop, I didn't wear a mask, and you guys can laugh at me if you want, wasn't a good idea. That coop has been festering for, well, it's been built up over winter. So as you can imagine, the chicken manure that was in there was quite pungent. I don't know if that's word or not, but so needless to say, I kind of inhaled all that stuff, and I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed with it. The last half of that I did put in on a mask, and it felt a little bit better, but I think the damage was already done. So if you're gonna copy me on my tarp garden, if you're gonna try this method, I suggest you wear a mask when you clean out the chicken coops. Ammonia is a dangerous thing if you have too much of it, and it's kind of a crazy thing where it's good for your garden, but it's not good for you. So so yeah, I'm gonna start picking this stuff up, and I'm gonna throw it on the garden. I'm not gonna show you a video of me packing the hay into the trailer, but I will show you me applying it onto the new section of the tarp garden. And so stay tuned, and we will do that. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. See this stuff here? You can see it glisten in the sun. That's the nice rotting stuff that we want to put on our garden. And so I'll show you where I picked it from. So you can see the top layer is kind of dry, but this whole stack here will be kind of like that there. And that's just beautiful stuff for our garden. All right, so that was a lot of work, but as you've seen in the time lapse, I got everything completely covered. If you're planning on doing a garden like this, what I've discovered is the thicker the straw, the better. And it looks a little high, as you can probably see, a little lumpy, but as soon as you throw the tarp on, it'll flatten out just like that. So don't worry about inconsistencies. As long as you got all your soil covered with the straw, that's the best way to do it. I'm pretty sure the way things are going here, I am introducing every step of the 5 principles of soil health in this garden. It's very successful. It works really well. But so we're gonna go back to work here. I am gonna install the tarp. So once you get your straw on there, she is good to go, good to start baking. So I'm gonna put the tarp on, and one thing to mention is, as you can see from the edge of this garden, this is my original garden, you can see a bunch of growth here. We don't mind that at all, but if you don't like that, make sure you overlap your tarp to your old part of your garden. So I'm gonna do that here. I'm gonna overlap my tarp. That's the line right there. I'm gonna overlap it a little bit just so that we have zero transition between the 2 gardens. So here we go, guys. I'll just stake the rest of this off and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, guys, that's it. I got her all tarped off, as you can see. That's our next phase. And if you stand back and look, kind of hard to see, but that is going to be double the size of the garden we did last year. So it's kind of like a puzzle piece. We got, we're doing this 20 by 30 tarp. We're doing it a couple times a year. So one in spring, one in fall. And we hope to get to the end of those trees there. So as you can see, I put the tarp in, and then it's always a good idea to put that wood over top, because you never know what the wind's gonna do. So hope you like this video. I'm signing off now. I'm very excited to see this come about and to see what the future brings with this garden. But as you can see, it's a massive success. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope you guys learn from this video. So remember, never till, nature never tills. And you don't need all that synthetic fertilizers, nothing like that. As long as you got a little bit of animals, even if you have a small chicken coop, you can use that manure to your advantage. And all this organic matter, that just goes right back into the soil, which feeds it. And another tip I can give you is your garden never sleeps. So even in the fall time when you've done harvesting, it's always a good idea to think about regenerating the soil. Don't just leave it even if you do till. Make sure you put something in there for the fall and winter for there to be food for the microorganisms below the soil to jumpstart your garden. So I'll sign off now. Thank you very much for watching. We will talk to you later. Goodbye.